Welcome back to CBS Mornings, where we are learning more about a hidden threat to our waterways and our health. So-called forever chemicals have been widely used for decades in products like cookware, cosmetics, and food packaging. And they have since leached into our water and can be found in the blood of most Americans. These chemicals have already been linked to a range of health problems, including some forms of cancer. Roxana Saberi looks now at what's being done in an effort to protect us.
On a hilltop in Maine, Songbird Farm sits silently. A shell of what it was and could have been.
Welcome to the ghost town of our dreams.
Adam Nordell and his wife Johanna bought the 44 acres in 2014 to raise organic produce and a family. 7 years later, they learned their land was riddled with toxic chemicals called PFAS.
Did you know what PFAS were?
No. I didn't know what PFAS chemicals were.
He soon found out. They're a family of thousands of compounds that last so long in the environment, they're known as forever chemicals. For decades, they've been widely used to put the non-stick in cookware and to make stain and waterproof fabrics, firefighting foam, food packaging, even cosmetics. The toxins at Songbird Farm were traced to sludge, the solids left after wastewater is treated, spread there as fertilizer in the 1990s.
It contained a whole host of industrial chemicals that were washing out of consumer products in people's homes, or that were entering the wastewater treatment district from industrial facilities.
Adam says tests found their water and some crops had dangerously high levels. So did his family's blood. He says it was 250 times higher than average.
Living with PFAS exposure is terrifying. I feel like I have a poorly wired time bomb inside of me.
That's because PFAS have been linked to health problems like low birth weight, liver damage, and some kinds of cancer.
While Maine is leading the way in identifying farmland contaminated with PFAS, a recent study estimates that sludge, like what was applied here, has also been spread on around 5% of all farmland in this country.
While not all sludge contains toxins, cattle that ate feed grown in tainted soil have been destroyed in at least 3 states. The chemicals also leach into lakes, rivers, and groundwater from factories and landfills.
They've really contaminated fish everywhere.
Climatologist Dan Brown showed us a stretch of a river near Detroit where the fish are too contaminated to eat.
I just can't imagine that there's any place that's going to be truly safe from PFAS at this point.
A recent analysis of freshwater fish samples collected by the EPA found PFAS are an issue in almost every state. They're so pervasive, studies have shown more than 95% of Americans now have detectable levels in their blood. And now, for the first time, the EPA is proposing strict regulations limiting PFAS in drinking water, more than 90% lower than previous recommended levels.
I was very pleased to see this.
Elsie Sunderland studies PFAS pollution at her Harvard University lab.
How would you characterize the federal government's approach toward PFAS?
I would call it ambitious, yet fragmented. You know, if we're really concerned about PFAS and our everyday exposure, we should be proactive and we should be banning these chemicals from non-essential uses.
In an email to CBS News, the FDA says it tests products in the U.S.'s general food supply, which is among the safest in the world. The agency says very few of those products have detectable levels of PFAS, and those that do are low.
In this greenhouse, we grew tomatoes in the summer and spinach and head lettuce in the winter.
Back in Maine, Adam has turned from working on his farm to pushing for new laws to help other farmers with dreams spoiled by forever chemicals.
If I can help protect other people from what happened to me, that motivates me to get up and go to work every day.
For CBS Mornings, Roxana Saberi, Unity, Maine.